SCB Connected. This is your host, Kelly O'Keefe. Before we get started with today's episode, I wanted to give a disclaimer. Today's episode, there's 4 people in the conversation, and so it's much more of a visual experience. Go ahead and pop on over to YouTube where you can watch the episode, and you can do that wherever the YouTube app is available. Go ahead and follow that and subscribe so that you get notifications on when the next episode is out. But we are about to start the much highly anticipated episode drop. This is SCV Connected Mom Edition, and as you know, with moms and being a working mom who wants to just make a positive impact in the world, it can be a little bit of a shit show. So we are ready for our reality television show. This is a little pilot, if you will, and we're just having fun here. So be a fly on the wall, listen in on our conversation. Today's episode is a deep dive into the reality of living in Santa Clarita and what it's like when Hollywood meets the burbs. So all my guests today are friends of mine, but there's this home thread, if you will. One sells homes, one decorates homes, and one, our special guest, she's been in the most famous home of all.
No. I was really curious where you're going to go with that. You guys all have these talents, and I'm just waiting for mine. Thanks, Cal.
So since there's so many guests, you probably want to watch our show. It's on YouTube. But I'll let you guys introduce yourself and just kind of speak to what it is that you do.
My name is Melissa, and I work for Keller Williams out here in Santa Clarita. I sell homes.
I'm Leslie. I actually do design for one of the top builders out here. I do their model homes, and I've been doing that. I've been in the industry for about 20 years, which is scary to say.
I still think I'm trying to figure out my industry. I came from jack of all trades.
Yeah.
No, you do it all. So
Yeah,
your resume, I'm like, oh my gosh, she owns a business, she owns a restaurant, she does everything. You content create daily. I'm like, what?
The content creating, I'm taking a break on that one. That one's, that is a job itself. And I am a mother of 2. I am a co-owner of Sugar Taco, which is out in Hollywood and one in Sherman Oaks, and they just expanded to Long Beach, so now there's 3 locations, which is great. And I love that the intro was Hollywood meets the burbs, because technically, I lived and, did the scene since I was 19. I'm going to be 40 this June, and I live in the burbs now. It's great, and I'm in the middle of so much renovations and decorating. My husband's, it's what he does, so I've been with him for 20 years. So I can kind of relate to all the construction and the real estate out here that you 2 are talking about. I'm trying to find some common denominator, because I can't be like, you guys decorate homes and, I started by posing in Playboy. Like, what? There's no common denominator. No, where are we going with
and
this?
in there too with all the design stuff, and we just
I appreciate that, Leslie.
Shopping,
Leslie is my good friend, so therefore
don't sell yourself short on that one.
I'm just trying to fit in.
No, but we're all moms and we're juggling multiple things, and so it's just I find it so interesting. Like, how do you balance it all? How do you?
You
for
don't.
Instance, oh, okay, good. You're human, Jessica.
Lots and lots of alcohol.
Who balance is right? Please tell me,
Good
Kelly.
friends, lots of wine purchasing. No, time management and just realizing when you need to kind of put in the extra hours for the work and when you need to dial back and just be there for your kids. I mean,
and also yourself.
Yeah, I drag my kids to some of my installs, and I'd say a lot of things we do to try to be like family oriented, where like at least the kids are always there. But it's a lot of hard work, but you've got to dial it back occasionally and know it's important. So
really having, I think, a support team, kind of like Leslie said, whether you have your family or you have friends, there's times where Leslie and I have asked each other, like, hey, can you take our kid here? Can you take our kid here? And then at the end of the day, we come together and we're like, all right, we need a glass of wine to kind of relax from just kind of juggling everything. So
Did you find that in Hollywood? Like, the support, was it there? Or
I didn't have kids when I lived in Hollywood, so I didn't really understand the whole community support until I moved to the burbs, basically. And that's when I saw what life is and what it can be. And I'm just so grateful being out here and being able to find that safe space. I mean, because in LA, Hollywood, I didn't have children, and the closest thing to me was, 4 bars down Ventura Street, and I would meet my friends, and that was it's a whole different lifestyle. I can't really kind of compare the 2, but growing up being 19 years old and living in LA until, 5-6 years ago has definitely, it's a big change.
Yeah.
So I know we're talking about support, but I mean, my friends are great, but they're on different just different lifestyles for
Well,
sure.
yeah, if they're like
And
on a
especially
project or something,
And I have a lot of good friends, very close friends that I love and adore that are so good to my kids. They don't have kids of their own. They're still, very much involved in the entertainment business, and their career is like their baby, but they treat my kids, so good.
Lots of aunties.
And you guys are like both really involved in community. You're like at a lot of nonprofit events, public facing, and then Jessica, sometimes you're on a red carpet. Like, what's that like?
Hey, I'm doing bras for a cause out here. I'm not
Are you
exactly
really?
sure what I have to do.
Oh,
What I put
you're
for Nancy
not-
Carter.
Oh, you're gonna rock this year?
Oh, good. That's exciting.
And you're always at these kinds of nonprofit events and stuff. Yeah. So what's it like to be like one day you're dressed up, you're at a nice event, maybe a red carpet or bras for a cause, and then like the next day you're like in a Walmart line, like I'm too
not be
famous for this.
recognized in public, that's for sure.
Do you get recognized? Do people
No,
like?
that's no. I seriously, I feel like I did this industry so long ago. Like now, it's evolved. It's changed so much. Like TikTokers and stuff like that. Like it's so different. Like I can't really. I am so glad that I had like my heyday, if you want to call it, 5 years, whatever ago, being on the reality TV, hosting and doing Playboy and all that good stuff. But it's, once in a while I was at Home Goods and there was this girl literally staring straight. I was with my neighbor and she was like, hey. And I kept looking behind me. I'm like, who is she talking to? And she goes, you're on TV. I was like, oh, they must be doing a rerun. I was like, yeah, that was good times.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I had a lot of talent. I opened up a briefcase on Deal or No Deal.
Oh, stop! Did you
Yeah.
really? With Meghan Markle? Like, hold on. Wait.
Oh man! Honestly, there's a whole bunch of us, and I'm very proud to say I came on the last 2 seasons, and I was like the best second alternate ever. So when I came on, everyone was well established, and I auditioned, and they're like, "Okay, great," and I was like, "Great!" I'm like, "This briefcase." No. I was the girl. It was great because I still had the same job, still getting paid, still doing everything, but I was more of like, I would go in, get all dressed up exactly with the way, all the models look, and there's 2 of us that were the alternates. And I probably gained so much weight just sitting at craft services, like waiting until someone like falls down the stairs and I have to take her spot. It was the greatest job ever. Like my pressure was like 0.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
Well, I can imagine like being up there and like say, what if you fumble or can't open the case? It's
You're like, props.
But those girls, every one of them are such, they're such good women, and I'm still good friends with so many of them to this day. And yeah, they've all done exceptionally well with their lives, and a lot of them have families now, and yeah.
So it seems like
Or-
you don't stress about like how do you stay relevant or like even with your like reels and stuff. Do you
Just
do all
said
that?
relevant. She
And
just
then-
used the word that I was called not
She's like,
relevant
how do
last
you
week.
stay relevant? No, and she's like, I am still. I'm not worried about it.
My agency called me a couple weeks ago. They're like, basically, long story short, they're like, you're not really relevant anymore. I was like, damn it. But that's the
I'm not
industry.
irrelevant.
But that's it. You have to have a hard shell to kind of like deal with it and make jokes about it and be, I find a lot of things comical, but I am so grateful for as long as I've been in the industry and how I kept, I would say, a good head on my shoulders. I've been with my husband for almost 20 years. I have these 2 amazing kids. I have so much to be grateful for, and I'm still doing stuff, but I'm not as I can't be a full-time mom and be involved in the kids' school and run a household and businesses. I can't do it all. Like,
Right.
you're saying balance earlier. I don't have it. I literally lost the balance, and therefore I'm not relevant anymore.
Stop it tomorrow. The phone call
I
could
don't
come.
care. But I don't care. I'm at such a good space in my life. I'm gonna be 40 in June. I'm not sitting here trying to I don't even know how to stay real.
That's what I was telling her. I was like, some of the designers we work with are, they're Instagrams and they're Insta famous, and I'm just like, I like to fly under the radar at this point. Like I did the big homes, I did the really expensive homes, and now I'm kind of like, I'm at a good spot where I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to be.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Because like you said, we were talking before the show, before we started recording and everything, and you were talking about like being gone in a way, and you would like to take more projects, but now that kids are the priority.
Yeah.
And it's not a
just-
bad
well,
thing,
and
but
especially
what works for you.
people at that point too, they want your weekends and they want your nights, and you want to do it all. You want to have another project under your belt, but realistically, it just, for me personally, it's just not worth it. Like, I'm missing my kids, I'm missing my husband, even though he's gone all the time, and I'm a good no husband at home person. Like, I like to manage. I can manage it really good.
Weird how much you get done though. Like, my husband, he's
My
home.
house stays clean.
But why is that though? Like, my husband went away. He had to go for his job for like a week, and he never leaves. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so hard. My kids went to bed so easy.
Yeah.
Like everything, the house was clean. I watched all
It's
the trash
needy
TV.
teenager you don't have at home.
I ate in bed.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Because you're the only one in charge. You don't have to like worry
Worry
anyone
about
else.
the other
It's
person,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
You go, my rules.
But I hear you on that. I look at my kids and I know it's so cliche to say, but how fast it goes, but it really does. I look at my kids and like, I don't want to miss a moment. Like how important you kind of just like navigate. Okay, like is this important to do that, or am I going to make this much money? Everything's about like just benefiting the family in the end. And before I was able to be, I mean, we're selfish, you know, I didn't have kids till later. Also, you know, I'm, you know, 7 and 5. So I was like 32 and 34 when I had my babies. But I knew I wanted to get everything else out of my system. I wanted to, you know, just work hard, party, be successful, be able to have, you know, do all that. I don't look back and I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done this or that. I'm like, no.
That's so
You know,
funny.
we
That's
didn't have
actually
social
something.
media following us
Yeah,
back
and
then.
that's actually something that you and I talked about too. I think last week I was just saying we're at a point in our lives now where we're all either approaching 40 and just realizing that, you know, at the end of the day, it really does mean so much to just like have our family and enjoy the time with our kids, which is, I realize is probably like the most important thing for me right now. So I like adjusting my schedule and making sure that I can be there at all those important moments. It's nice having a job where even though it is kind of, you're working around other people's schedules, I can still kind of manipulate it and have my own schedule too and be there for like those important things. So
But it's nice that you also have your own identity. I love the fact that I have, you know, whether it be like my friendship group or golfing on Fridays or I also like to let my daughter know that mommy works too, and you can do whatever you want. Like you don't need to fit into some certain you know
category.
But it's definitely nice to be able to, you know, be a 2-income house and just be able to support. I like having my own thing. I do.
I like
but
that
I also,
we all work from home too. Like we can do our jobs at home, like email, coordinate, set up events, shows, that kind of thing. Like all from home, so they can see us like working.
Yeah.
And that's neat because if you just leave and go, they don't really know. Like,
my
what
little
you do.
5-year-old, I babysat my friend's kid. I think I told you this story, and he goes, "My mom said your job is TikTok," and I go, sorry, I don't have TikTok. It's Instagram, and that is not just my job. And then I was just like,
I'm not your mom about that.
He's 5 years old, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to argue with him. But it's you know, it's not just, you have to build you are your brand.
Right.
You have to keep on, you know, you have to.
There's not an IT person for TikTok. Like, how do I do this?
I'm not
I have to
on
go
TikTok.
Because she doesn't have an IT person.
I'm like, how do I work a reel? Like, and then I went down the
forget
YouTube
that.
like
I don't know.
hole, and I'm like, okay, I can figure this stuff out. And each time it was a win and a win and a win, and so I'm like, oh, I love doing this now.
Oh, see,
Content creator.
Yeah, I'll post something and then Melissa will like repost and add the music in a reel. I'm like, how did you do that? Like, I just, my mind won't go there yet.
I'm just now
videos.
getting the hang of it. Like I typically would rely on like my business partner to help with that because she's a little bit younger and she likes doing the reels and all that stuff. And for me, I'm like, I don't know how any of this works, but I'm starting to get a hang of it and doing it on my own.
But I understand how important it is it's a new way of advertising. It is like everyone is going, no one's
And
watching
getting
commercials,
content
no one's
out there,
reading the-
yeah.
Yes. But also it's your landing page. It's like instead of websites, people, I mean, even I do that. If someone's like even clothing lines or whatever, you go to their Instagram pages to see that. So I understand the value of it and I get it, but it is a lot of work. And I find myself too, like not wanting to post my children, not wanting to, and I've been doing a lot less of that. Like, I mean, a lot, but it's also like, I don't want to just live on social media. I totally get the
Yeah, because it's like an algorithm thing. So you have to like.
Yes.
That's why I'm like.
Yes,
oh,
and they won't show your stuff to anybody if you're not constantly on. There's so many like you could sit there and wrap your like, how do I do this? It's never ending. Like it's always changing. It's always keeping up. If you're not really like, you know, advertising your business or making money on it, like I probably would just like, all right, I'm gonna throw my hat in.
Yeah.
I think that's the
For me,
same.
it's kind of, I feel like I have to show my kids in it too, just because people, especially when it comes to real estate, have to know, like, and trust you. So I like them to see, you know, the information that I put out there, the content, whatever. But I also like them to see like the mother side of me and like know that, okay, if you're moving out here for schools or anything like that, like I have kids, I can relate to you. If you're just, you know, whether you're moving out here to
family.
start your family, whatever it is. Like I just feel like for me, I have to, you know, do a little bit of everything, but I do try not to put like too much like personal
you're good
stuff
about
or
that.
like
24-hour story.
or going out there and like showing like drinking or doing anything like that. Like I have to, I am
Just
very
never
careful.
post when you're if you're with your kids and you are say at some event. Like I wouldn't really do a live Like, hey, I'm here at this time. Like, don't pop.
She told me that because one time I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so fun. And she goes, oh my God, that was a week ago or something. It's like, okay.
But I'll get myself, because I also want to be in that moment. I don't want to just sit there. So I'll get a couple like videos or whatever, but then I'll post later. But that gets me in trouble because a lot of people are like, oh, I thought you couldn't. And I'm like, nothing is in real time. Yeah. Because I mean, to each your own, but I don't want to like be like, hey guys, here. Anyone that's watching, I have a public profile. I don't need people, you know, like your kids. You have to protect your kids. Yeah. So I just, so you did say that.
I'm like, speaking of protecting kids.
Again, it gets me in trouble. I'm
like, sorry. We can edit that one out. I post my kids, but honestly, like I was private for so long because like I would put pictures of my kids on there and then I'd get like randos following. I'm like, I don't really know that you like out of all my photos you liked one of my child. Okay, bye. Like kind of filter them out. But then I'd be like, Melissa, like I tagged, you know, this one company because our kids ride these electric bikes, and I was like, why don't they repost the video? And she's like, because you're private, they don't see that you're posting them. And I'm like, so I can kind of go through and edit, but I'm not like, I'm not super tech savvy with all that stuff, but I do post them. They're on there, but.
Yeah, it is interesting. I ebb and flow. I go back and forth. Like, I'll put them out there, and then you're like, oh, I shouldn't really. I mean, they don't get a choice in the matter. Like, what if it's like a bad picture?
My daughter will be like, Mom, no. I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. Like, I won't do it. And then I'm like, damn it.
I see most of the posts are like our kids on the bike or, you know, something, or like group photos later, but.
Yeah, and it's totally
fine. I just actually don't post a whole lot of
anyone can do whatever.
Anymore.
That's what I think like it should be. Like whatever feels good to you, whatever serves you, whatever. Do what works for you for sure.
You do you, boo.
I got a video of my daughter the other day and she was like, Mom, no. And like I was like, damn, it was so funny. But I helped her with her homework and she had a new packet and she was like, Mom, she's 7. Oh. She goes, Mom, last time you helped me, I got like 4 wrong. And I went,
I have to Google so many times when I'm doing homework with Ben.
And I was like, because I was like, okay, pronoun, adverb, adjective. Like I remember, I do remember that. And I was like, 4 wrong, you're in 2nd grade. Yeah. Like, that is really sad.
Well, the worst one is, like, the Common Core math. Yeah. Math, they teach at, like, the public schools out here. I'm like, that makes no sense. I'm like,
2 + 2 is 4. It's not 5. It's never going to be 5. I don't know how you're getting that.
Yeah, I would just, like, thank God my oldest, he's 10. He is very, very smart. And I'm like, Mason, can you double check your brother's work? Because I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah. So, thankfully, he's good at it.
What would you say to someone like going into the industry that's young and maybe like rural America and they see Hollywood and they want to come out here and live out here? Like, is there any advice you would give to someone?
Oh gosh. Well, I definitely have a game plan. Like you can't just come out and move out to California.
Or your kids,
with these taxes. We got definitely. You know what? I just started working with a company and we created this like over a year ago because I did think about there's so many women that stay at home and I don't have too much detail about it yet because it hasn't launched, but it's kind of what your question is. They're, you know, maybe in the Midwest or the South and they want to do an income, and I know a lot of people do. You know, like Arbonne or something.
Yeah,
just something
marketing.
They want to
be a part of a community.
They want to have something.
I talked about their own identity. Yeah. They want something more, and they want to be home, or they can't travel. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they start Instagram pages or blogs, but they don't really know how to like navigate it and how to, get attention. So I'm working with this Moms Creators. It's from Guru, and we are coming up with like classes and programs and like how to kind of work it, and it's like a subscription based monthly type of thing, and they can join and watch Zoom webinars. They could do just basically teach them how to create a successful blog and what to do, what to look at, what Instagram the algorithm does, and how, I mean, it is like a tool to kind of learn, and we're all learning every day. But if someone's out, in the middle of nowhere and they're watching all these people, and it's so hard because I think I have like a love-hate for social media because they're watching, they're looking at these great moments and this and that, and it's like, no, there was so much to that picture. Like if you
oh my gosh.
Yes, and it wasn't just this perfect curated photo of, this woman and she has 7 kids and everyone's dressed perfectly and smiling at the camera. No freaking way.
And she's sponsored and all the things. Like, hold on.
But there is this program that I'm working with is just helping those moms to kind of like do the blogging, and we also work with brands. So brands that will want to send maybe free product and help create just content, and eventually maybe they grow so much that they'll get these brands to start paying them, and that's like the main goal at the end. So that is something that they could do from home where they are now.
That's so cool. They don't even have to like relocate or anything.
Yes. So relocating, yes, if you want to do acting or TV hosting or modeling, LA, New York, definitely the place to be.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I love that. No,
Yeah.
because they're like, especially when you first have a kid, like you're kind of homebound for a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
at least like you don't know what you're gonna get when you go out with a kid. Like, I don't know about you, but I was so anxious with my first because you're like,
I had no
even
idea
a
what I
red
was
light.
doing.
I was like, oh my gosh, like nobody told me like a red light would seem so long because they're crying. And
I had to film 4 days after Sophie was born. Like
Oh my
4 days
goodness,
after.
what?
I filmed 4 days after Sophie's born. I'm holding her.
Oh my gosh,
And I'm
that's-
on
I don't
this
think I've
reality
taken
show.
a shower yet.
No, but I remember just being in a daze. I mean, she was with me. I mean, but it was still like, it was just like one of the weirdest moments, like, just, leaking and just kind of not feeling. And I mean, no one tells you like how to be a mom or what to do or what's the protocol or what's this and that. And you just have to, you just have to go with your instinct and just be the best and not listen. The mom shaming too. Like, oh,
wait, you
all
were
that.
working 4 days later. Have you always been so driven? Like, is that who you are?
My husband thinks like, yeah, I can't stop. Like, I can't. But I will say when I first sat down, I'm slowly kind of, just not working as much. I can't keep running myself a little, thin. And I think, maybe it's age. I don't know. I'm just kind of at kind of a really good place right now where I don't feel like I have to work so much. And it's not that like I have to, my husband, no, it's not that. It's me. It's always been me. Like I like the fact of just having my own thing, my own, like just contributing, and something like drives me from that. But
passion for it too, which is why you keep doing what you do.
And if I could chime in, I've known you since we were like young,
know.
junior high.
I know.
You've always been like this, driven. You would like ASB president. She would always like rally everyone. You had multiple things going on. It was like, where's Jessica now? She's here. She's there. Like you always had things. That's just kind of who you are.
I know. I do. But I think, you get to a certain point where it's like, whoa, I can't do all this. Like I'm finding myself like more tired. I'm really like, I know I'm turning 40 and I'm very like, oh my gosh. But there is something to it. There is something to it. I'm just like, I'm finding more joy in other things, I guess.
Okay.
I guess that's the best way to say. Like, from the girls' nights or just, taking the kids. Like I still, I'm taking them to the Paw Patrol premiere thing on Saturday. Like I do still, like to do the LA thing every now and then, but it's like my heart is not like 100% into
You gotta
it
get
anymore.
worked up for it. Like,
Yes.
at an event coming, you gotta get prepare yourself.
And you have to be on, and like sometimes I have no idea like even what I've been saying for the last half hour here, but like I just
we talked about that blackout mode.
So real.
I do.
Like from not sleeping and stuff. I'm like, wait, hold on.
no.
What am I
You
saying?
sleep?
I mean, barely.
But I did Sirius XM radio for 7 years, 5 days a week. I was on the Playboy channel. Absolutely loved it. But every time it was live radio too, which is so scary now that I think about it. From 3 to 5.
I would not be allowed back.
No, I mean,
We can edit.
I would come home. My husband's like, "What'd you talk about?" And I was like, "I don't know. I kind of blacked out." Like he was like, "Wait, what?" And I go, "I don't know. I don't want to talk. Like I just talked for 2 straight hours. I have no idea what I said." But thank goodness it wasn't. No offense to podcast because I do one now, but no one could replay it.
Yeah.
That's true.
You're like, they heard it once, they can't go back.
It was live, and you can't have dead air. So sometimes I would just say the most random things, and like my co-host would look at me. He was like a former Bachelor guy. He was like, "Oh my gosh, like I can't. You're like a representation of me." I'm like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Oh, so you mentioned podcast. Do you want to talk about it? What's going on?
Oh gosh, no, I don't. My podcast is on hold right now. I started a podcast with Kevin Conley's network at Action Park Media called Flashbacks, and it's been so much fun. I've done it for 2 years, and it's like the glory days, like of the early 2000s, pre-social media, when all that craziness. You guys remember that, like when Britney Spears and Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan would go out, like that was like kind of like the time that I was just kind of, there was like Hef and all. As girls, and I at the time it's so crazy now.
Jeans.
I love it. I listen to it.
The transitions, yeah. Von Dutch.
Ed Hardy.
Yes, oh my God.
Oh, such good
So
times.
funny.
Like so much. I look back now and I'm like, I didn't realize in that moment like how kind of. No, I don't want to say like lucky, but just I didn't.
You were. Oh my gosh.
I didn't, but it's so weird sometimes to think about now because it's like my life's maybe completely different. But I was always with my husband. I met him when I was 20, so he tagged along on most of the time. I mean, there was points where I was like, "Hey, let's go to the mansion this weekend." He's like, "Jessica, I don't want to." I'm like,
Stop.
"I'm sorry."
What?
No man says this, but why?
never.
He was like, "Jessica, no offense, it's a little bit like because it's very sleepy on the weekends. It was super fun because I got to see my friends, but Hef had his like buddies there and they played backgammon, and he was
What's
like,
it like? Is it really? Does it need a makeover? Do we need to ship Leslie in there?
We were just talking.
it's long gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there one time many years ago, and I walked through and I was just like, oh, I think that carpet's probably been here since the 70s.
Oh,
like,
stop.
I would have loved to kind of, like, just me being a designer, being
Yeah.
in spaces, I'm always just like, oh, well, we could, like, tweak or do this. I was saying when we were in Malibu, I was standing out in the street, and I was like, I feel like I need to put my card on some of these houses to just revamp it a little bit.
Oh, you should have, did you?
No.
Leslie!
I would have had to leave like a post-it. I didn't have a business card on a post-it.
I would still go back.
I mean, I know where the address is, so I can go back
Yes.
and stick them on there,
What about you, Melissa? Do you sell houses out here to people that are in the industry? Like, have you ever worked with anyone?
I don't think I've ever sold a house to anyone who's in like the entertainment industry. I don't
That you
think
know of.
that I know of. that I know of. But yeah, I do sell a good amount of houses out here, and mainly it's my biggest, I guess, clientele is more of like, I don't know, either first-time home buyers or a younger generation who are moving up to their second home and kind of doing that. So I work with a lot of families, and it's just nice that I can kind of like meet all these different people and show them like why we love like Santa Clarita so much. It's so safe and it's clean, and it really is just such a good place to raise a family. So
Now,
There's
did
a
you
lot
grow
to
up out here?
offer.
You did, right?
yeah, I've grown up out here my whole life, so I've been out here.
So
for,
you've
like,
watched it like grow, and you know
yeah,
everything
I
about
remember
it,
when
all the
there was
ins and
like
outs.
there was no mall. There
Oh
was
my gosh!
See, that makes us sound old. I remember.
Yeah,
I remember
hold
like
on,
my
there's-
parents. I remember
you
when
guys
there was
had,
a
like, the
field
cool mall
there.
where you
yeah, there was no mall. There was like, and then Mervin's was there,
Oh
and
my gosh, Mervin's.
Oh my gosh! Call our girl Melissa. Do you have any real estate needs?
yeah,
She knows everything.
yeah,
Aw,
definitely seen it change over the years, but I love it out here. We really are in like our own little protected bubble out here, so I don't.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. When I was driving, we lived in Sherman. I lived in Tuca Lake for 7 years in Sherman Oaks, the majority of like my 20s and my 30s. And we were driving down Ventura Boulevard. My husband and I was pregnant with my daughter, Sophie. And I saw a big sign that said, "Come to Awesome Town." And I was like, Kyle.
Awesome town.
Awesome Town. And my husband's from Minnesota. So he's like, you know, he wanted So, okay, here, just real quick,
Yeah,
how I
how'd you
met
get out
him,
here?
because he is not an LA guy. He was not living here at the moment. His brother was. He has identical twin brother, so he just moved to LA. Kyle was here visiting him. I was 20, very close to turning 21, and we were both in line at Baja Fresh on Sunset Boulevard, and he like hit on me, and
Funny, I didn't know that's actually how you guys met.
oh yeah, it's like a true story.
No way. I didn't know that's true too.
And he asked me for my number, and I gave him my number because I don't know, I was 20, and I gave everybody my number. So I was like, yeah, that's great. And he was like, okay, well, I don't live out here, but love to take you out. And I just kind of spaced on him and didn't really call him back.
You didn't call him back?
No, I was like really busy. And then I remember, like, he came back out again and reached out again, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on a date with this guy. I'm gonna go on a date. But I already had a date lined up. So I went out on my I'm not joking. He knows this. So I was on a date with this guy, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was supposed to end because it was like an earlier one. Like he took me to some like Circus Soleil type of horse show. I don't know. So, but it was early, so I was like, okay, so I can go to dinner with him by like 7, and then it was like running late, and I was like, damn it. So I took out, I'm gonna really age myself. I took out my Razor phone, and I was like, ABC, like trying to like text him.
Oh God, like
To like change it.
yeah.
Because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so late. And he was like, if you would have changed it one more time, I finally, I'm 3 days shy of turning 21, just keep that in mind. So I get out of the car, I'm already a little tipsy, go get in his car for the second date, and he's just looking at me like, who the hell is this girl? He's from like Minnesota, and he's like on this date with this LA girl, doesn't even know that I just
That
posted
you were
Playboy
already
at
on
the
another
time.
date.
I was on another date. I mean, it was like, I did not think like this was gonna go anywhere. Halfway through, I sobered up to the date, and I just remember being like, oh my gosh, I just met the guy I'm gonna marry, like right away.
Oh.
And we've been together ever since. I got married. I was 24. The month later, I turned 25. We'll be 15 years in May. But yeah, it's crazy, and that's how we met, and we've
Over like
been
a
together
burrito
ever
or
since.
a Baja Fresh.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then you guys saw the sign for Awesome Town.
Oh, sorry, that's where I was going with.
I was like, how did we get on this tangent? It happens all the time.
No one cares about my crazy. Yeah. So he didn't live here. So then he bought the house. He's in construction stuff. So he bought a house in Tuca Lake to flip. Ended up staying in that house. That was our house for 7 years. And then moved to Sherman Oaks. And then, he was just, with the babies. And he was like, I don't really think LA. Like, he never adapted
Did
to
he
LA.
ever want you to go back home to like Minnesota?
That is
Or
not my home.
Or his home.
Like, no.
Wow, no offense taken Minnesota.
No, honestly, after he already got a little like taste of California and the weather and stuff, I don't think he wanted to go back. But we did, him and I both 7 years ago, we did buy a lake home in Minnesota. So we spent our summers there for the last, you've probably seen on my social media,
absolutely.
for the last 7 years. And it's like the most happiest times that we have, like just creating that with our family. But awesome town. So he just never really felt connected to like just the heart of LA.
Yeah.
And I love that about him, to be honest, because he is just such a Midwest, like I mean, you know him very well, but he's not it wasn't his space. And then vibe, exactly. And then when we saw that sign and then found our home and just everything, it's just, I mean, the sense of the community that he has and we have, and it's been great. I can help you sell some houses if you need help. Yeah, I mean, it was a hard adjustment for sure. I think for both of us, just having so many things and so many great, no offense to Santa Clarita, but like, I mean, good places to eat. And like, I mean, we have a lot, but
we're working on that.
We need a sugar taco. Can we get one out here?
Yeah, we just, so we miss a little bit of like the different options, I guess, but we would not trade it for the world. I mean, just again, like the friends and everything that we have built out here since we've been here, it's been really great, and we love the mountains. Like love the mountains.
Right
like,
now, because they're all green with all the rain and stuff. It's so pretty when you're driving around and you're like, oh.
But you could breathe better out here. You could like there are so many good things about so many places, but for us, like this is perfect for us. Yeah. And then yes, we get the taste of Minnesota every summer, and you know it's a great time. Okay, I feel like I'm talking way too much. Anyone else want to talk about their Baja story, love story?
Well, I grew up down in Silmar, so I was very happy when we moved, but I was also a little bit bitter because I was like, those were all my friends. I was 16, I was coming up here, and I was like, what is this like suburban town I'm coming to? Like, this is not me. But then I slowly kind of started to acclimate, and I have great friends out here. But whenever we kind of do drive down to the valley, I'm like, kids, this is why you work hard. This is why you get a job, like to provide for your family, to do the things you want to do. Like our kids, we do work hard to provide for our kids, but like they have to know like that comes at a cost. And so we try to like try to instill that like work ethic. Like you have to put in the work for the things that you want. So
I love that you said that. That is one thing that we talk to our children about nonstop, because I feel like I don't want them to, nothing's handed to them. Nothing was handed to us as kids, and we're just definitely trying to pass that down as well.
Yeah, did they go to school like saying like, hey, I went to the Paw Patrol like premiere?
No,
not
they
really,
don't,
not
they
yet.
don't
like,
know. No, they don't know. Like my husband did say that. He's like, listen,
it's like something's like
no,
special.
and I think, and we, as you know, we include our friends on so many of these opportunities that we get. I mean, we all went to the Paw Patrol movie.
Yeah.
That was
Last year,
I don't know.
whatever it was.
That's really cool.
But it's, I think that, no, they don't. They have no idea. They're 5 and 7. They are just worried about their next snack. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
That's so true.
Yep.
Okay, so did we leave anything
feed the
out, or
masses.
where can our guests find you? If they have a real estate need, or they need their home decorated, or maybe they want to hear your podcast, Jessica.
I love Kelly always has
Don't
my back.
look at my podcast because I took a huge break. I was like, I can't do this after season 1.
I took a huge
Oh my
break.
gosh,
I
some
am a
breaks
huge
are
break.
okay, Jessica.
I am.
Transition period.
My last podcast was in November. I mean, you can still find it.
Yeah.
You know, it's called
Go subscribe to it
Flashbacks.
right now because it's going to be back.
I
It
do.
will.
I'll listen to it sometimes. I'll text her like, "Oh my god, that was so funny," and she's just like, "That was like a while ago." And I'm like, I'm making the time.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, support me, download, subscribe, leave a nice comment.
I do all the time.
Yeah.
No, those reviews are important.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, some of the reviews. Whew. You know, it's funny.
Like stuff I could do without.
Yeah, I'm like, and you can't delete those at all. But it's like,
can't?
Oh
no,
yeah,
gosh,
Melissa
no.
was talking about like any of that stuff.
Okay,
it's
leave
out
the
there.
positive review, but email me directly the
Right.
feedback.
How about tell me the negative review
Yeah.
in person over wine, and then
Yeah.
we'll talk through it.
Seriously.
You
You'll never
can't
mention it
please
again.
everybody. That is one
That's-
thing,
yeah.
you know.
Yes,
and it's-
100%.
And it's not even that. You can have someone on, and that was like in my case, I had someone on that no one liked at that moment. So it's, you know, they yell at the interviewer, and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, but I'm not trying to, you know, I'm giving everyone a chance to speak in.
That's
regardless.
so true, though. Coming into 42, I'm more in a place more than ever of like, this is me. I'm sorry, I can't.
40 as well.
40 as well.
You said 42, and I was like, wait.
I know.
No, 40 as well. Oh,
Yeah.
not 42.
I was like, wait, she's 42? No, she's not. She's younger than me. But I helped you, Kelly. I
Oh,
helped
thank
on
you.
that
Thank
one,
you,
yeah.
Jessica. Looking out for me.
I got you.
No, I'm more owning who I am more than ever, and
Yes.
realizing you can't please everyone.
No.
But you do please more people when you are yourself. Like,
Agreed.
they can feel the energy. It's true. It's magnetic. There's something different about it when you're showing up fake and inauthentic. People know that.
Yeah,
And
you
so-
have less to worry about if you're just authentic, because you don't have to remember the story that was fudged or the lie that was told, or like put on and then after you're like, oh, in scene, like I'm exhausted. So
Right.
Yeah,
I think it was more of that, like putting it on and then like, okay.
I mean, I have to do that in some areas of life, but it just.
I'm not lying necessarily, but like sometimes you're so in your head of like worried about who you are, and you're just like, eh.
Yeah.
I mean, so I just have like I can't stop talking it. I know, Leslie, you know that.
I'm like a lot of like, oh, foot and mouth. I wish I didn't say that.
But it's like just say what's on your mind, and I think having with friendships as well, like just having these. I think boundaries are fantastic. I think healthy boundaries for sure. But being able to communicate and like just talking that's like the best thing I think. Within just everything in life. I love that we're giving a little motivation at the end.
Right?
But it's easy. I mean, I think as you get older, like you said, though, it comes more easy because you're just giving like less F's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are.
I can
Or
curse
you're just
on my
open to
podcast.
more therapy
Well,
too.
I have to
You're
say
just
that,
like,
honestly.
I know, I have it after.
Yeah.
That's what
I
our
do.
wine sessions are.
Yeah.
Is,
Online therapy, yeah.
You know what's funny though?
haven't-
Therapy has such a taboo. No. I go to
love
better
my
my life.
therapist.
I go to learn different ways to like kind of whether it's setting boundaries or being able to communicate even with friends and stuff like that. Like there is no like drama. Like just go in and talk. It's really not that hard. And I think just when I seeked out like therapy, I just wanted different ways to like kind of maybe approach different situations or different and just living my best life. And I just think I wish therapy was available for absolutely everybody because talking to someone and you're not talking to a whole bunch of different people. You're talking to this one person.
And an unbiased opinion. Like, you're
Yes,
like, okay.
yeah, 100%.
and they're not in the same phase of life as you. They're like, sometimes when you're talking to people in the same phase, it's like, yeah, you have a partner in it, but like, okay, where's the wisdom? Like, where's the tools? Like,
Yeah, and they're gonna sit there and be like, no, that's probably not the way to handle it. And it's like, oh, well, how do you handle it?
Yeah,
Tell me more. Like,
give me the homework.
Yeah, I remember the first time coming in, I would be like, well, here's this, but then this is what they did. This, just making sure, like, there's both sides here. And she looks at me and she's like, stop trying to prove so much. Like right now, that is not what we're here for. I was like, yeah, but I don't want you just to like think. And she goes, I know after like just speaking with people, like they know. They like know what kind of person you are. They know how you're gonna like talk. They know like it's crazy. I've been seeing the same person every Monday for like 2 years now, and consistently.
I love my therapist. Yeah.
But I'll even be like, hey, I had a thing with a friend. How do I, I'm dead serious. Yeah. How do I don't like that she did this, but maybe in her way, that's the way. And she'll just try to be like, well, here's this way. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I'm an advocate for therapy.
Melissa's been my
love
therapist
it.
on several of
Has
those
she?
types of conversations.
Yeah. And you've been mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's great to talk. I mean, don't ever hold anything in. And I like that you're saying when it comes to like the age, but when we're younger, Kel, like everything, oh my gosh, was all so devastating. And like you thought the world was like crumbling. Like there are ways to just pick it up and fix it. Or
your first breakups? Like, jeez.
Oh my
Oh, no, I never really.
You're like, no, I was the one who did the breaking up. Okay, well, I cried several times. It was the end of the world.
I know, but I met Kyle 20, so.
That's good.
Okay, well, where can everyone find you guys?
Well, for me, I mainly on Instagram. Mine is just Melissa Gunn Real Estate. Super simple.
Sweet.
That and Facebook.
Okay.
Mine's difficult because I'm not gonna lie, it's been my tag since I was like a teenager. But
Don't make excuses, Leslie.
I know.
like your pager code
well,
thing?
because I get, is it celebrity something? It's celebrity less. Don't ask me why, but it's celebrity LES on
You're a
Instagram.
celebrity to me.
Thanks.
Well, we'll put it in the show notes so people can just
Actually,
find
no.
it.
Now that I have
really
like a
easy.
flashback of that, the reason celebrity came is because I was very like I'm really good. Like if you tell me things, like they stay with me. So I'm a little bit like secretive, like incognito. And my friend would be like, God, you're like those like celebrities. Like you never know what's going on. And I'm like, okay. So that was my Yahoo email. It's so bad. You could cut all that out. No. That's just a story for you guys.
I still have a Yahoo if that makes you feel better.
I do.
Oh my God.
CelebrityLess@yahoo.com.
My Instagram's just at Jessica Hall. And yeah, you can my podcast is still up. It's Flashbacks on Action Park Media. And we will come back. We're just taking a little break right now, but we will be back.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening today, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a wrap.